Aneke Aneke Foundation has distributed free exercise.
Good afternoon and welcome to the news at 3 on Aneke TV. First, the headlines. India successfully tests nuclear-capable missile able to reach deep into China. Ukrainian president says he's ready for some compromise on demand for ceasefire. ICC rejects the new U.S. sanctions against 8 judges and prosecutors. Ebonyi State government seals mining sites after pit collapse kills 2 persons. NEL funds to stop upkeep loans during school holidays. I am Aneke. Now the news in details. India has said it has successfully test-fired an intermediate-range ballistic missile that, when operational, should be capable of carrying a nuclear warhead to any part of China. The Agni-5 missile was successfully launched into India's eastern Odisha state on Wednesday, and authorities said it validated all operational and technical parameters. India and China, the world's 2 most populous nations, are intense rivals competing for influence across South Asia, and relations plummeted in 2020 after a deadly border clash. India is also part of the Quad Security Alliance with the US, Australia and Japan, which is seen as a counter to China. India's bitter rival, Pakistan, has nuclear weapons as well, as the 2 countries came close to war in May after militants killed 25 people in Indian-administered Kashmir, an attack New Delhi blamed on Islamabad. Pakistan denied any involvement. In the meantime, authorities in Ukraine say Russia has launched 574 drones and 40 missiles on its soil in one of the heaviest bombardments in weeks. 1 person was killed in a drone and missile strike on the western city of Lviv, while 15 others were reported wounded in an attack on the southwestern Transcarpathia region. The attacks came as U.S. President Donald Trump spearheads diplomatic moves to halt the war. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha said the strikes highlighted why efforts to bring it to an end were so critical. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is ready to make some compromise on his demand that a ceasefire takes place before any talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin, as long as some security guarantees for Ukraine are established. His comments come as Moscow openly contradicts the White House narrative that plans for a bilateral meeting between Putin and Zelensky are underway. Ukraine and its allies in Europe have long pushed for there to be a ceasefire as a first step towards ending the war, which would require resolving seemingly intractable issues such as land and security guarantees. But after U.S. President Donald Trump pivoted towards favoring a peace deal over an immediate ceasefire, Zelensky indicated he was willing to be flexible. We move to the U.S. The International Criminal Court (ICC) has rejected new U.S. sanctions targeting 4 of its judges and deputy prosecutors, calling the measures an assault on judicial independence and the rules-based international order. On Wednesday, the U.S. State Department announced new sanctions on 2 judges and 2 prosecutors in the ICC for engaging in efforts to prosecute U.S. and Israeli citizens. Secretary of State Marco Rubio accused the ICC of being a national security threat and an instrument of lawfare against the U.S. and Israel. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has welcomed the U.S. move. Recall that ICC issued arrest warrants against Netanyahu and his former defense minister Yoav Gallant for alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity over Israel's war in Gaza. We move to China. Chinese refineries have placed new orders for Russian crude that will be shipped from ports that typically supply India. This is as demand from the South Asian country for Moscow's crude slips following U.S. President tariffs. At least 15 cargoes of Russian oil have been secured by Chinese refineries for October and November delivery. China and India emerge as the top buyers of Russian oil following Moscow's 2022 invasion of Ukraine, which prompted Western countries to shun its exports. Now we take stories from Africa. A prominent South African member of parliament, Ian Cameron, fired his gun to fend off a violent attack by a gang on him and two of his colleagues in Cape Town. Ian Cameron, along with two other members of Parliament's Police Committee, Lisa Shackling and Nicholas Gottsal, were returning from a work trip when their vehicle was ambushed in the town of Philippi on Tuesday. The assailants smashed the car's windows with bricks, injuring Cameron and Gottsal. Cameron, whose teeth were broken, retaliated by opening fire, injuring one of the attackers. Police said two teenagers aged 16 and 18 had been arrested while they investigate a case of attempted murder and attempted hijacking. Moving to Nigeria, the Nigeria Customs Service Ogun 1 Area Command has impounded 3 exotic cars, including 2021 Rolls-Royce Ghost with a duty-paid value of 905 million naira. Others include the 2014 Formatic Benz with a duty-paid value of 21,422,400 naira. And a 2018 model of Honda Accord with a duty-paid value of 32,020,000 naira. Other contraband seized within the period under review also included 4,424 bags of foreign parboiled rice, which is over 7 truckloads, 1,936 parcels of cannabis sativa, commonly known as marijuana, 105 used tires with a total duty value paid for all the seizures standing at 1,401,531,923 naira. The Ogun 1 Area Command Controller, Comptroller Mr. Godwin Otunla, announced this at a briefing held in Idioroko today. Mr. Otunla said that the seizures were fallout of the command's firm commitment not to relent in combating the menace of smuggling, nor bow to the antics of recalcitrant economic saboteurs who undermine our nation's economy and security. And moving on, still on the news here in Nigeria, the Ebonyi State government has sealed a mining site in Ishiago Ivo local government area. This followed the collapse of a lead mining pit that claimed the lives of 2 miners last week. The Commissioner for Solid Minerals in the state, Honorable Chidi Emmanuel Onya, who announced the closure, said the move was to allow for a thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding the tragic incident at the Greenfield mining site. He commiserated with the families of the deceased and those injured, stressing that government's priority remains the safety and well-being of its citizens. The Commissioner revealed that relevant agencies, including the Nigerian Police Force, the Department of State Services (DSS), and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC), were already involved in the investigation. In Akwa Ibom State, police there say they have arrested a community health practitioner masquerading as a medical doctor, Sunday Okon Akpan, for allegedly killing a 35-year-old woman in a crooked abortion. Self-identified Dr. Akpan, with no proof as a licensed medical doctor or a nurse, owns and operates Full Life Medical Center in Ikot, Ibio, Odong, Ibesikpo, Asotan local government area in Still on the news, DSP Tim Fonjon, Police Public Relations Officer, Akwa Ibom Command, in a statement on the tragedy said the man was arrested on suspicion of conducting an illegal abortion that resulted in death of a 35-year-old woman. Now we move to the education sector. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund says that uncapped loan disbursement is now strictly tied to the academic session of each institution. Now Fund made this known in a statement signed by its Director of Corporate Communications, Osheyemi Oluwatuyi. Now Fund further advised interested loan applicants are required to apply for the loan at the beginning of every academic session to be eligible for both institutional charges and upkeep for that particular session. Apart from institutional loans disbursed directly to institutions, beneficiaries of the student loan scheme enjoy monthly disbursement of 20,000 naira, which amounts to 240,000 naira yearly. With the new directive, students will only enjoy the monthly 20,000 naira during academic session, while payment will be ceased when students embark on holidays. Now we move to the business news. Nigeria's participation at the ongoing Tokyo International Conference on African Development TISAD-9 in Yokohama, Japan, is anchored on an ambitious mission to attract over $1 billion in trade and investment. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said he and his team aim to accelerate green innovation and industrial growth, expand opportunities for youth, and position the country as the heart and gateway to West Africa's vast market. Noting the need for peace to attract investment, he vowed to tackle the underlying causes of terror and praised the armed forces for their efforts. According to him, a victory over terror will come not only through the might of the armed forces, but through reforms that deny extremism fertile ground. In a post on his verified X handle at official BAT, President Tinubu underscored the central goal of his trip, noting that Nigeria was not attending TISAD-9 as a passive participant, but as a continental leader with clarity of purpose. In a similar development, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has pledged the Nigerian military support to the South-South Development Commission (SSDC) in securing oil and gas facilities in the region. General Musa made the pledge when a delegation of the SSDC paid a courtesy visit to him at the defense headquarters in Abuja. He endorsed the Commission's proactive approach and assured a strong partnership. Highlighting the importance of protecting critical infrastructure, General Musa stressed the need for community-based initiatives, including the revitalization of jetties and waterway terminals as alternatives to road and air transport. In the meantime, the Minister of Blue and Marine Economy, Mr. Adegboyega Oyetola, has announced that the Lekki port is projected to generate $200 billion in revenue for the government over its 45-year concession period. Mr. Oyetola made this declaration in Lagos during a breakfast meeting organized by the Nigerian Chamber of Shipping in collaboration with Lekki Port. He explained that since the port commenced commercial operations, the challenge associated with port congestion has been easing both in Lagos and other ports, while simultaneously enhancing Nigeria's competitiveness as a logistics hub. He stated that the level of world-class infrastructure at the port signals vast untapped opportunities for investors, operators, and service providers. Also in business, Main Power Electricity Distribution Company has filed a formal petition before the Enugu Electricity Regulatory Commission (EERC). The petition dated 14th August 2025 is a fallout of the tariff reduction order by the EERC, which took effect from August 1, 2025. The petition, supported with a full-paragraph affidavit, was signed by Dr. N.S. Mukwaya, Managing Director and CEO, Main Power Electricity Distribution Limited. It is expressly asking for review of Order Number EERC 2025-003, Tariff Order for Main Power Electricity Distribution Limited. I'll take that again. Tariff Order for Main Power Electricity Distribution Limited 2025 to avoid loss of revenue due to downward review of tariff. Main Power stated in the petition that the tariff order published by the respondent on Friday, 18th July 2025 for Main Power Electricity Distribution Limited was not agreed by the parties and that the same did not comply with the regulation number EERC R004, Enugu State Regulatory Commission Methodology for Tariff Regulation 2024. Now we move to sports. Arsenal we have until 12 p.m. tomorrow to register Eberechi Eze if they want him to be eligible for Saturday's Premier League clash against Leeds United. The Gunners have moved quickly to snatch Eze from their North London rivals Tottenham Hotspur. However, the 27-year-old is set to feature for Palace against Fredrikstad in an Europa Conference League playoff today. Arsenal opened their league campaign with a 1-0 win at Manchester United and will be looking to build on that against the newly promoted team at the Emirates. In a bid to strengthen, nurture and improve basketball development in the metropolitan city of Lagos, the state government has forged a partnership with the Nigerian hierarchy of the National Basketball Association (NBA) following a productive meeting. The NBA Nigeria team paid a visit to the state governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu as they outlined plans for the strategic growth of the sporting leaguers. Amongst the high-power delegation include former Nigerian-American player and current ESPN basketball analyst Chinenye Ogumike. And we move to entertainment. The Nigerian entertainment industry is mourning the tragic death of Vic Matt, a talented executive producer from film director and manager of Big Brother Niger Season 10 housemate Bright Morgan. Vic Matt, whose real name was Victor Tobechukwu Okoli, was reportedly abducted on Friday near Ntachiosa in Enugu State and was subsequently killed by his abductors. The devastating news was shared by Ben Cassie, a fellow filmmaker, on Instagram, remembering him as a man of high principle and a respected figure who made a significant impact on the industry. She described him as cool, calm, and intelligent with a passion for making good films. Also, Nollywood actor Fabian Adibe, famed for his role in the classic television series Things Fall Apart, is dead. He died at the age of 81. Journalist and movie producer Seun Oloketuyi confirmed the death on social media yesterday. Adibe, who celebrated his 81st birthday in December 2024, reportedly died peacefully around 2:30 a.m. yesterday. The actor and television personality led Nigeria to its first Commonwealth Art Festival in 1965 before launching his acting career in 1987 with the acclaimed adaptation of Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart. He portrayed the character Wefi Uzowulu in the series, acting alongside Peter Doche, and earned admiration for his calm demeanor and powerful performances, which endeared him to generations of viewers. And that's it on the news at 3 p.m. on Aneke News. Here are the main points. India has successfully test-fired an indigenously developed intermediate-range ballistic missile capable of carrying a nuclear warhead deep into the territory of its geopolitical rival, China, just as Prime Minister Narendra Modi prepares for his first visit there in years. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he's ready to make some compromise on his demand that a ceasefire takes place before any talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin, as long as some security guarantees for Ukraine are established. We also told you that the Ebonyi State government has sealed a mining site in Ishago Ivo local government area following the collapse of a lead mining pit that claimed the lives of 2 miners last week. That was the news. For breaking news and eyewitness reports, please call 0703 043 7110, or you can send a message across all our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, and right here on YouTube, all at Aneke TV. I am Amaka Niji, and thank you for joining us.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It is soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
na mbụ ọja m na-asị ekekele ụwa na ọkwa ọja ekenekwa gị na eluigwe na ala na-ekene gị na urukpuru na kpakpando na-ekene gị na ugwu na ndịna na-ekene gị maka ka onye si eme ka ekwe si akpụ ya ka onye si eme ka ọja si akpụ ya ihe a bụ Aneke TV.
A non-governmental organization, Aneke Pascal Foundation, has distributed free exercise books to pupils in Community Primary School 1 and 2 in Ozam, Amechi Dodo, Nkanu East Local Government Area of Enugu State, with an encouragement to the children to take their studies seriously. The serene atmosphere of the school was agog as the team arrived the arena with over 300 children benefiting from the free exercise books. Speaking during the event, the program officer of the foundation, Obinna Obu, said the idea of sharing the books was to empower the children educationally. According to him, the foundation has put in place all the necessary measures to support the development of education in the area. He said the foundation had visited and donated books to some other schools in Enugu South, Nkano East, and Nkano West local government areas.
We are here, which is part of our ongoing project, which cut across distribution of educational materials to pupils of rural schools located in rural communities. So we've covered other local governments. So this another local government, another school under Nkano East, which we've covered today. And I think our come here was successful, though the rain tried to destroy, but to God be the glory, the aim of coming here was achieved at the end of the day.
As they are shared to.
Sure, it will be useful to them, and it's obvious on the way they collected it and their countenance and their expression of joy and the collection. We believe that by giving them these books, it will help them to do their homework, assignment, and classwork, and then take their learning serious. Thank you.
3 pupils, Sarah Obase, Chimeremeze Goodness, and Ernest Igwe, expressed joy that their school was remembered and thanked the foundation for the gesture, pledging to take their studies seriously.
I am happy, and we are happy as you give us the exercise book of Aneke. Thank you for giving us. We are happy.
I want to say you people thank you for coming and sharing the book for us.
I want to say to you people thank you for coming and sharing book for us.
Speaking, the 2 headmistresses of the Community Primary School 1 and 2, Ozam Amechi Dodo, Mrs. Regina Ngozi, and Magdalene Ume, thanked the foundation for their humanitarian efforts by providing free books to the children, saying that the books will motivate the pupils.
All I have to say is thank you, Lord. Una try. We really appreciate your coming. We are happy. It's a real good. We are happy for the foundation have shared up to let's say 500 size books to the children, and children also we are happy that they receive this gift from you people. We appreciate you and your foundation, and we pray that God will continue to guide you.
Even my purpose are excited. I appreciate you people for coming, at least to show us that this type of thing is in existence. Because if people are not here, we will not have known that you are in existence, that this such a thing is even in existence. So we appreciate it.
Mr. Livinus Ibuaba, an indigene of Amechi Dodo, thanked the foundation for sharing free books to the children and also encouraged them to do more. He also encouraged the pupils to take their studies seriously, that with the books shared to them, it will be very helpful to their studies.
I'm very excited. When I heard that your people are coming, I was overwhelmed, because I know that coming here will cushion the effects of the cost of education in the life of the parents of the pupils. An adage in our locality that says no yen lirijia oya okachako. No, just meaning that whomever eats his yam, that one is the highest farmer. So Aneke has remembered us. Aneke is the greatest. I'm happy with them, and I pray that God will strengthen them the more.
The school environment was filled with happiness as the book distribution continues. For Aneke TV, it's been Chiwendo Ifeonwankwo reporting.
Close your eyes. Let the years roll back. Echoes of the past, taking you back in time, where every story shines like a sweet old rhyme. From classic hits to faces we've missed, from golden days to timeless bliss. It's not just memories, it is a journey through the moment that made us. Echoes of the past, the stories that last, on your Throwback Thursday, bringing back the past. Only here on Aneke TV, where yesterday lives again. Hello, I'm Amaka Nechi, and today on Echoes of the Past, we take a journey into the life of a man whose pen reshaped how the world saw Africa and how Africans saw themselves. a man whose words bridged cultures, challenged stereotypes, and gave voice to the heartbeat of a continent. He was a storyteller, a teacher, a critic, and above all, a custodian of African heritage. His name, Albert Chinua Lumogu Achebe, the literary giant, often called the father of modern African literature. Chinua Achebe was born on November 16, 1930 in Ogidi, a town in present-day Anambra State, Nigeria. Ogidi was steeped in Igbo traditions, yet Achebe's family stood at the crossroads of two worlds, tradition and colonial influence. His father, Isaiah Okafor Achebe, was a teacher and an early convert to Christianity. His mother, Janet Aneke Achebe, brought the warmth of storytelling into the home. Growing up, young Achebe was surrounded by folk tales, proverbs, and oral traditions from his Igbo culture, while also absorbing the influence of British colonial schooling and the Bible. This dual perspective, African heritage on one hand and Western education on the other, would later shape the very core of his writing. Achebe excelled academically. After early schooling in Ogidi, he attended Government College Umuahia, often called the Eton of the East, a place that nurtured some of Nigeria's brightest minds. It was here that he fell in love with literature, devouring the works of Dickens, Shakespeare, and other Western authors. Yet, even as he read, he noticed something unsettling. Africans in those books were often portrayed as savages, voiceless, and without dignity. In 1948, Achebe joined the brand new University College Ibadan, the first university in Nigeria, affiliated with the University of London. He started studying medicine but soon realized his heart was in storytelling. He switched to English, history, and theology, determined to become a writer who would tell Africa's story from an African perspective. It was at Ibadan that Achebe began writing short stories, essays, and radio scripts. His early works hinted at his later genius, blending traditional African narratives with modern literary style. After graduating in 1953, he joined the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation in Lagos, where his career as a broadcaster and writer took off. In 1958, Achebe published his first novel, Things Fall Apart. The book told the story of Okonkwo, a proud man whose life and culture are disrupted by British colonialism and Christian missionaries. Unlike the books Achebe had grown up reading, Things Fall Apart showed Africans as complex, dignified human beings with strengths, flaws, traditions, and histories worth preserving. The title was drawn from a line in W.B. Yeats' poem, The Second Coming. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Achebe used it to capture the shattering impact of colonial intrusion. The novel was an instant success. It has since sold over 20 million copies and been translated into more than 50 languages, making Achebe the most translated African writer in history. Things Fall Apart didn't just entertain, it rewrote the narrative about Africa, challenging racist portrayals in works like Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. Achebe didn't stop there. He went on to write No Longer at Ease in 1960, Arrow of God 1964, A Man of the People 1966, and later Ant Hills of the Savannah 1987. His works tackle themes like corruption, tradition versus change, political instability, and the struggles of post-colonial African nations. Achebe's writing style was distinct, simple yet profound, deeply rooted in Igbo proverbs and storytelling patterns. He believed English could be Africanized to carry the weight of African experiences. In the late 1960s, Nigeria was torn apart by the Biafran War, 1967 to 1970. Achebe, an Igbo man, supported Biafra's bid for independence and served as a roving ambassador for the cause. The horrors of war, famine, displacement, and massacres deeply affected him and would influence his later writings, especially his poetry collections like Beware, Soul Brother. The war also changed his relationship with Nigeria's political establishment. Achebe became an outspoken critic of corruption, oppression, and misrule. His political stand sometimes put him at odds with those in power, but he never backed down. From the 1970s onwards, Achebe taught at universities across the world, including the University of Massachusetts, Bard College, and later Brown University in the US. He mentored generations of African writers, insisting that African literature must speak for itself, not through colonial lenses. In 1990, tragedy struck when Achebe was in a car accident in Nigeria, leaving him paralyzed from the waist down. He moved to the United States for medical care, but continued teaching, writing, and advocating for social justice. His later works included the memoir, There Was a Country, in 2012, which recounted the Biafran War from a personal perspective. Achebe also received numerous awards, including the Man Booker International Prize in 2007. On March 21, 2013, Chinua Achebe passed away in Boston, Massachusetts at the age of 82. His death was mourned across the world, from classrooms in Nigeria to literary festivals in Europe and America. Today, Achebe's work continues to inspire writers, scholars, and everyday readers. He is remembered not just as a novelist, but as a cultural guardian. The man who insisted that Africa's story would be told by Africans themselves. Chinua Achebe once said, "Until the lions have their own historians, the history of the hunt will always glorify the hunter." Through his pen, Achebe became that historian for Africa, giving the lions their own voice. His words remind us that stories are more than entertainment. They are a declaration of identity, dignity, and truth. And so, as we remember the man from Okidi whose books travel the world, we are reminded of another Igbo proverb he loved. When the moon is shining, the cripple becomes hungry for a walk. Achebe may be gone, but his stories still walk among us, strong, steady, and unafraid. And that's all I have for you today on Echoes of the Past on Aneke TV. You can drop your comments on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, and right here on YouTube. My name is Amaka Niji. Stay tuned until next week, Thursday.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.